Hello, welcome to Board Deck and Dice, the show so good they named it. Today we're going to be looking at the Valley of the Alchemists, this is a prototype version. It's currently on Kickstarter or soon to be finishing on Kickstarter, and the pieces that I've got are not representative of the final pieces, especially the little wooden discs which are representing decoctions. In the final game they will be plastic or miniature bottles. So without further ado, let's take a look at how you play the Valley of the Alchemists. So this is how you play Valley of the Alchemists. You are attempting to change ingredients into decoctions and decoctions into potions. Potions will score you points and also improve your skills, which then let you take more ingredients. The other things you have are these single-use powers that let you increase the value of your potions or give you more options with your decoctions, and this board to put your potions in. You'll lay out 10 of these cards, and then each player will take 2 actions per round to try and get what they need for these cards. So for example, for this card we'd need 2 red decoctions, or is it orange? I think that might be orange. For this one we need 2 green, 1 green, and so on and so forth. So what can we do? Well, on a round we can take ingredients to the level of our skill. So we can do, at the minute we've got 1 skill and everything. White is water, and you always need that to brew a decoction. So let's say we take a white and a red, and then on the next turn we take a white and a yellow. What you can also do is brew decoctions. Your list is here. So if we wanted to get let's just say we took a blue, not a red. A green, we could do a white, a green and a blue. White, a yellow and a blue equals green, and then we take one of these decoction tokens. Now remember, this is a prototype, so in the full game these are not going to be wooden discs. These are going to be plastic miniature bottles, which I'll talk about in my thoughts at the end. Now we have a decoction. We can make an elixir or a potion, so we can pay that back to here and get one of these. And when we get one of these potions, we increase our skills by whatever it says, so that gives us more water, and we place it somewhere on our shelves. The other things we can do are to rearrange our shelf or to sell a line of elixirs, which I'll talk about in a minute. So as the game goes on, we might end up with something like this. As we take ingredients, we then say, if we were taking water and mushrooms, it looks like, we would take 4 of each. And if we were taking the others, 3 of each. So there's your kind of player board. These individual powers relate mainly to the shelves, but this one lets you change any number of decoctions. So if you have 3 purple, you can change any number of decoctions to the number of the decoction that you want. So for this, I can change those to purple by putting them on there, and then I've got 6 purple. That's the only time you can ever have more than 3 of a colour. So we'll move these out of the way, we'll bring the shelf down, and we'll talk about potions. What you're trying to do to score points is get rows that have at least some semblance of matching. So if we have this here and we sold this row, we would get 3, 4, 5 points initially. Then we'd look to see what we've matched. We've matched a colour, and colour matching is an extra 4 points. So we'd then be on 8 points. We haven't matched the level, because this one's a level 2, it's the number of potions you need, and these 2 are level 1s, and we haven't matched the shape. So if we'd have matched the level, we'd have got a bonus 3 points, and if we match the shape, we've got a bonus 5 points. On ones with more than 1 level, there are some with different colours, and if you match both colours along the row, you get the colour bonus twice. What we can do here is we can use this power to change this shape to the conical one that we want. You may only use 1 power on 1 shape, and remember, once you've used it, it's out of the game. And we can use this power to make this down 1 level. So we would score the maximum we could there. We'd score 4 for that, 3 for the levels, 4 for the colours, and 5 for the matching bottle shapes, but these are out of the game. And the other one we've got can change the colour of an elixir. Once the deck of potions or elixirs has been gone through and the draw pile is empty, you end the game and your players count up the points they have from these, which are dished out in various, again, these are prototype tokens at the minute, plus points, plus they go through their soul pile and add on these points as well. And then they check any decoctions they have left on their player board and they get 1 point for each decoction left. That is how to play Valley of the Alchemists. So I actually really struggled with Valley of the Alchemists. I liked the idea. I got it, I looked at the bits and went, oh, okay. I'd looked at a Kickstarter, saw the bottles and thought, ooh. So I went from ooh to getting the prototype going, oh, okay, to reading the rules and going, okay, to playing it and going, ah, okay. And that's been my journey with it. It's not that it's a bad game, but I think there are some significant issues with the game for me that mean I wouldn't rush to play it again. The first thing is, or the kind of main feeling you get from this is they just wanted to add so much. So they added extra mechanics where it perhaps didn't need those mechanics. They added extra components where it didn't need those components. They added extra scoring mechanisms where they didn't need those scoring mechanisms. And for me, noticing those things, it just became an exercise in frustration. The game itself plays quite quickly. You're only taking 2 turns each go, but because it's so simple and light, those turns tend to be quite repetitive. Your first turn you need to take resources, so you're going to take resources. And you're all on the same level until you get a elixir or potion. So you'll only be taking 1 of each. So you'll only be making 1 decoction on your second turn, because your first turn you'll be taking 2 lots of ingredients. Your second turn you'll either be taking more ingredients or trying to get a cheap elixir to push up your skills so you can take more ingredients. And it takes a while to get rolling that, and just feels very repetitive. And I think what doesn't help is you're not just taking ingredients to use for the potions. You have to make these decoctions first and then use those decoctions to get the elixirs, which are the things that score you points. And it feels like they've just added in another mixing session. So you're mixing this to get that. But the things that you're getting are always the same, just different colours. They don't do anything different. They don't power anything different. It's not like you're getting ingredients to make a variety of things that will let you do a variety of more things. No, you're getting ingredients to make decoctions, to make elixirs, and you're doing that until you burn through all this deck of cards. And it just became very repetitive for me. Added to this is the fiddliness of the game. So getting ingredients, you're taking just 2 initially from the pile of up to 6 of each colour. Then you're taking 4 or 5 or 6, you're putting them there. But then the next turn you might be putting them back to get a decoction that you put there. I actually think that the decoctions in this prototype are better than what's going to end up in the final game, because if I'm taking multiple decoctions, I can take them in a stack and put them on my board and then move them back in a stack, because they're flat discs that sit on top of each other. The potions that are going to be in the final game won't do that, so it'll be another exercise in fiddliness. I wonder if the ingredients would have been better as trackers, similar to the skill set, or similar to a game like Istanbul, where you're moving a cube up and down the track, because that, although it might not be as physically pleasing or aesthetically pleasing, mechanically it's easier. And in a game like this, where it's so simple and so repetitive, doing this is not fun. And then the scoring as well. I really liked the kind of, this was my favourite bit of the game, getting the potions and trying to line up and work out, can I get a good combo with bottles of the same size, same level and the same shape and the same colour, trying to maximise your bonus points and sell as much as you can. I really enjoyed that part of the game. When to use your powers, although it kind of felt like everyone having that single-use power, it basically all you're doing is giving them everyone another 3, 4, 5, so 9, 12 points, because they're always worth 12 points, because if you make it the same colour, to use 3 the same colour, you're going to get, I think it was 4 points. If you make them the same level, you're going to get 3 points, and if you make them the same shape, you're going to get 5 points. So those tokens, although they kind of add a mechanic and it was like, oh, shall I use this now? Basically, if everyone uses those tokens in the game, they're all going to get 12 points. So it's kind of like, why include them if the bonus is for using them is the same? Also, the fact that you not only score the victory points when you sell a line of potions, but also when you, at the end of the game, you go through the ones you've sold and add them up again, just doubles what you did when you sold them. And it's not going to change the position of who's won and who's second and who's third, because everyone's going to be adding on the same amount of points that they've already scored at one point in the game, along with some other things. But that actual mechanic of adding the ones on you've sold that you've already scored points for, I can't see how that's going to change the order. So it just feels like an exercise in fruitlessness. So yeah, the game looks amazing. The artwork is brilliant. The components, on just looking at them, even in this prototype, and just holding them in your hands and playing with them, are brilliant. I just feel the game is kind of in that vein of Century Spice Road, but whereas Century Spice Road nailed the core mechanic of you've got one type of resource and you're manipulating that to get points. And everyone can see what you're doing, and there's a sense of racing for the big point cards because they're the ones you want. In Valley of the Alchemists, it's just like, oh, you're going for blues, so I'll go for greens. The interaction is so low, it's like a solo puzzle, really, and that's the only interaction on display. I think they could have done some things to alleviate this. I think each player could have had a unique setup where they get more of one ingredient, so that player is going to go, even if it was just 2, so right from the first go they can collect an ingredient and brew a decoction. They're already on their way. Even if one of the red, the yellow or the blue started on 2 instead of 1, that would make a massive difference. And if each person started on a different one, some unique powers in there, something that lifts it from just doing this and then doing the same thing again, taking the resources you've just made and making them into only one thing, or some powers on the potions that you're making other than just skilling up, that let you mess with other players or improve your score. And they take out all of the chaff around the edges, the double scoring, the one-use powers that essentially are going to give you all the same score anyway, apart from the one. There is a game in here, and I reckon it's a good game trying to get out. But by putting too much in, for me, it sadly is one that I would not add to my collection. You might disagree with me. Go and watch Michael May on Toucan play this game for a different opinion. I'll put his link down in the description box, and also put a link to the Kickstarter if you just disagree with me and your style of games doesn't suit my style of games. Intimidation factor. Low when you look at the artwork, gets higher when you look at the components because there's lots of them. Medium. Rulebook was good. Actually, rulebook was very good. Fun, too much fiddliness, too much chaff, and that resulted in too much boredom. Would I add it to my collection? No one's surprised perhaps to hear me say no, I will not be adding Valley of the Alchemists to my collection. Thanks very much for watching Board Deck and Dice. We'll see you next time.